Yo, you already know what time it is. Welcome back, my Ultra fans. Welcome back to a brand new What If series. I'm not gonna say the name of the series, but before I actually tell the name of the series, I would like to make an announcement. Guys, we just hit 7,000k subs. Like, oh my god. Like, I'm actually surprised and blown away. We hit 7,000 subscribers. Now, every subscriber counts to me, and like, it's just like, it's just amazing. I actually reached 7,000 subscribers, and I know some of you guys out there watching say like 7,000. Like, that's actually good, but that's not really a lot. So I'm like, yeah, I know it's not really a lot, but still, I love getting subscribers because it actually shows that you guys really like my content. And for actually the 7,000 subscribers who joined my actually Ultra channel, I would like to welcome you to the Ultra family, because like, it's a really big deal. I consider you guys all my families. Like, not one of you guys I even like all of you guys actually excluded. Not one of you guys is left out. And then the people who actually unsubscribed to my channel, hopefully they didn't, I still consider them as actually family. Now, I actually don't want to waste any of you guys' time. This is a new series, a special series of what if issei was a dragon slayer. Now, I did make a community post in actually my channel, in the community tab. Yeah, I did actually, gave you guys two suggestions. If you guys want actually Satoru Gojo issei reincarnation, or you want Dragon Slayer actually issei, or Slayer issei. Now, you guys actually really like the Slayer issei, and I said like, okay, Slayer one is, and most of you guys were saying like, oh yeah, gave him actually, you know, like God Slayer magic, gave him actually Dragon Slayer magic. You know what? Just gave him all types of Dragon Slayer Slayer magic. Now, the one who actually commented this, sorry if I'm actually pronouncing your name wrong. Chris 007 Sunnity. I'm sorry if I actually butchered your name, but like, he said for me to give him all types of Slayer magic. I was considering doing that at first, but I thought that's gonna take way too long, and plus issei is gonna be so broken. But I will actually add your ideas for the harem. He actually said like, okay, can you add female Movavi, Roth Weiss, and Tiamat? I will be putting them into the harems, and they will be the main girls. For right now, I don't know if there are gonna be any more, you know, like heck, harem, but these are actually the ones I actually got. So thank you for the harem idea, because like, I was actually kind of confused, like, who should I add for the harem? These three are actually the best pick. And without further ado, guys, this is actually What If issei with the Dragon Slayer. I hope you guys actually enjoyed the series. We'll start this story off with actually of a man who actually had red hair and green eyes, just walking along actually the forest, as he was actually Dreg, the Red Dragon Emperor of Domination. Now, as Dreg was actually walking, he would hear actually of a baby infant crying, so Dreg would just go ahead and check it out. Once he actually checked it out, he would see actually it was actually a baby issei there. So yeah, issei is gonna be born way late in this, like super, or kind of like, he's gonna be born way back in the past, of course, where actually the three great factions before they even, during the time where the three great factions are in war, of course. So with this, Drago actually kind of like be weirded out by this baby and why it was that baby here. But he picked up the baby, and the baby started crying, and it would surprise Dreg. Dreg would actually look at the issei in his eyes, and issei would do the same thing. And with this, issei would just start laughing. Dreg felt something move inside of him. He never felt like this, of course. He never really had a kin of his actually own, but that's what it actually struck him. He can actually just raise this boy to become actually his own king, a dragon slayer. So with this, heck, he will just take issei to his home territory, and for the next 7 years, he will actually raise issei and he will actually teach Issei how to read and write, and also to learn Dragon Slayer, of course. Now, once actually Drag was actually off facing off against actually Albion, which this was actually the normal thing what Drag actually did. He will leave Issei alone for actually quite like some months, heck, even 5 months, of course. And he will actually just come back and act like nothing has ever happened. Like he's just gone off to get the milk, and then after a few years later, he comes back. But Issei was just used to this. Sometimes Issei would actually be with his uncle Tani during the time which he was actually Dragon King. And he would be raised and actually trained by Tani too. And Tani realized that Issei is a fast learner. Heck, he's even a prodigy dragon slayer, of course. Now, Issei is 50% dragon and 50% human, so he's not fully dragon, of course. But he will be later on in the series before dragon, but whatever. Right now, we'll just actually see Issei and Tani as they just finished their training, of course. Now, as Issei is resting, actually over blue fire will be launched towards Issei. As Issei will just actually eat it, of course. He will eat the blue fire, and he will look up to see it was actually his best friend, also his actually rival, his rival Tiamat. Now Tiamat would actually scoff, and Issei would actually tell Tiamat that that was a good attack, but not as good as actually his own Crimson Fire attack. With this, Issei will actually launch his fire at Tiamat before the two of them will actually have a little battle of their own. And this was actually a normal thing for Issei, as he was actually trained or either just fight with Tiamat. And the two of them dreamed to become actually the next Dragon Emperor, of course. Like, Tiamat wants to become the strongest female dragon emperor, or even Dragon King, which Issei strives to be even better than the Dragon Emperor. Heck, he wants to become even a dragon god. And he wants to actually do that by actually face off against any type of enemy and winning against them. If he wins against actually Orphis, which Issei does know about her, he'll be actually kind of like considered a dragon god. So Issei is just training just to beat her, of course. He heard rumors that if Albion actually keeps fighting, probably in a few years or actually so, they'll probably be on the level even close to even Orphis. So Issei just wants to reach that kind of level. As the fighting came to an end, because Tani basically stopped it, of course. As with this, Issei would just tell Tani that pretty much he didn't need to actually stop the fight. That for him to become of a powerful dragon like his dad, and also him, he needs to actually be put through hardship training, of course. Training that can actually almost kill him. With this, Tani would actually refuse, and saying that pretty much even though Issei may be strong, he's not that strong. He's only just 7 years old. So with this, Issei would just scoff before he would just fly away, and he would fly into Devil's territory, of course. Issei knows he's in Devil's territory, but he doesn't care, of course. Nobody would mess with him. Issei can take on high class devils. Kind of high low class devils, so yeah. As Issei is just flying, he will reach into somebody's territory which he would not care, and he will see of a girl with just purple hair and orange eyes, and she's just looking at some flowers, and this was Ingval Leviathan, of course. Now, Issei can sense that she's of a half human, half devil, of course. Now, Ingvar will look towards Issei, and she will be taken aback. She will just step back, of course, surprised that Issei just appeared out of nowhere. Now he's just standing right in front of her. Issei will look and ask her why was she so afraid of him. He just appeared just now. There's nothing to be afraid. If you do anything stupid, then yeah, you should probably be afraid, because I will kill you. Now, Ingval just heard the words coming from Issei's mouth that he will kill her. She started to panic, but she realized that if she did panic, she would be killed. So with this, she just kept her mouth shut. But Issei would just play with her, saying that he was joking, that he was not going to kill her, of course. So with this, Ingvar will calm down and ask who really is he. Now Issei would say that his name is Issei Dragoneer, of course. I'm not gonna pick Kyoto, because what's the point? Yeah. As with this, Ingvar will just introduce herself as Ingvar Leviathan, kind of like the descendant of actually Leviathan itself. Now, as actually Ingvar said that Issei would be looking at her strangely, Issei can sense that Ingvar has a sacred gear. And heck, he knows about sacred gear because actually God created it, of course. And Issei asks, does she have a sacred gear? Ingvar will be surprised and asks, how does Issei know about that? Issei says there's loads of things that she doesn't know about. Like, for one, he's actually the son of actually the Red Dragon Emperor. And this was actually surprised Ingvar, but heck, she will not say anything. But, of course, the actually conversation will be put off short to where actually somebody was actually coming and calling for her actually name. Issei actually decided that this would be his leave, so he would just actually kind of leave, of course, and he would just continue to fly. And from then on, Issei would actually kind of just go to Ingvar, of course, just to hang out during and he would actually kind of making a bond with her in some kind of way. The two of them would actually kind of be friends, of course. Now, we'll pretty much time skip to about 4 years to where Issei is actually of 11 years old, as the battle will still continue on with actually this, actually devils, fallen angels, and angels, and occasionally Issei would actually get involved in actually this war. Every time when Issei was flying, he would actually just be face off against some actually devils or even fallen angel, heck, even some angels, but they were no match for Issei. Issei would just crimson, just burn them actually all to ash. And with this, he would just really get himself annoyed, of course, and he would consider joining the battle. Anyone who actually dare cross his path, yeah, they will actually receive the wrath of actually the kin of actually Dreg. And with this, we will actually see Issei right now flying, of course, as he was just actually flying all the way home after he just finished his training session with actually just Tawny and also Tiamat. Now, out of nowhere, a lightning strike would just actually crash down on actually Issei. Issei barely actually avoiding it would dodge out of the way, of course, crash land onto the ground. With this, Issei would see several actually fallen angels surrounding actually him. And with this, the leader of it was actually Bakio. Now, Bakio will march up towards actually Issei, and he was actually preparing to kill him, of course, by launching actually a lightning actually attack at him. Now, remember, Bakio does actually kind of do this in a canon line, but we don't. But we're in actually the past, guys. We're in the time where actually war is actually a thing here. Remember, the Three Great Faction War. So pretty much, Issei did cross Fallen Angel's territory, and they would shoot down anyone who actually kind of looks suspicious who is not a Fallen Angel. So yeah, they shot Issei down, and they don't care if it's whoever it is, of course. They will kill anyone on the spot. So with this, Issei would get up, and Bakio would actually just launch lightning towards Issei. Issei would actually avoid it, and he would actually kind of would scream out Fire Dragon Roar before actually incinerating nearly actually half of actually the fallen angels there. Now, Bakio would launch actually his holy lightning, making Issei dodge at the last second before he would charge up, kind of rush towards actually Bakio, before actually he would actually gut punch him and shout on Fire Dragon Iron Fist, before he would actually launch Bakio all the way towards the ground, making a huge crater. Now, Bakio was surprised by this actually by Issei's strength, of course, by how someone his age can have this kind of level of strength. So with this, he would just actually shake that out of his head before he would continue on with the battle, of course. Now, the battle will actually continue to be fierce until actually Bakio actually had Issei pinned down to the ground by several actually fallen angels, which Bakio was actually preparing to kill Issei with his actually holy actually lightning. So with this, he would just launch it towards Issei with all his powers, of course, trying to actually completely finish the job. But Issei actually realized if he didn't do anything quickly, he's gonna get himself killed. So with this, Issei thought of something. As the lightning inches closer towards him, Issei started to eat the lightning, of course. And this would surprise everyone there. And once Issei finished eating the lightning, Issei will gain a massive actually power up. As pretty much lightning and fire just came out of his whole body, and Issei's eyes just turned that of actually white as the pretty much scales just started to come out of his actually bodies. As with this, Issei will actually shout out "Fire Dragon Lightning Roar" before he will scorch half of actually the battlefield there, and not killing actually just Bakio, but killing most of actually fallen angels that was in that surrounding area, of course. Now, Issei will be surprised by actually his strength, of course, that he has lightning now. He thought it was only just fire, but now he has lightning. He actually kind of thought about it. If he actually just eats different kind of magic, nobody, like, heck, he would be kind of immune. He would be badass awesome. He'd be immune to even some of them. Heck, he's immune to fire, of course, but actually lightning now, heck, he's gonna train this ability. So this, from that day on, Issei would actually continue to actually train his lightning magic, of course, and he will not actually. I'm not gonna say this. Issei won't actually get all the Dragon Slayer magic right from the start, of course. Heck, he's just gonna get a few for right now. During the time, Issei would actually battle some devils, fallen angels, and he will actually kind of eat some of that magic, of course. Now, I'm not saying that Issei will actually have devil slayer magic, or even actually like angel slayer magic. No. Like, for one, Issei actually gained Sky Dragon Slayer Slayer magic, which he did by either actually kind of like an angel actually high level of actually magic attack, and he actually just made it his own. And also, he actually kind of also got immune to pretty much Iron, which was actually Iron Dragon Slayer magic, of course. So yeah, Issei actually did gain a whole lot of power during actually this time, of course. But truth be told, Drake was even more shocked about this, that his Keen is getting this strong, all by his own, that he's gonna be a force of nature. Just imagine, just in a few years of time, how much power this guy actually would have. No one would be able to even stop him. He would probably even surpass even himself even. So yeah, this truly surprised Drake, but also this surprised Albion. He didn't even know that Drake had himself a Keen. This Keen can actually use different types of actually Slayer magic. It was actually insane. As we will actually go right now to where Issei is actually just flying. It was actually the time actually the three faction actually kind of bounded together to actually take down the two heavenly dragons, of course. Now, as Issei is just flying, meets actually Tani, of course, and Tiamat, they consider to actually talk and sometimes even train, of course. Issei actually met actually some actually different kind of dragons, but I'm not gonna go into it now later on. As he was actually finished, he will actually kind of hear of a crying voice, of course, like that of his actually father. It was heard from nearly the tree, like all around the three great factions, like everywhere, of course, the cry of Drake and Albion. Now, with this, it would actually surprise Issei that Drake will actually kind of roar this kind of actually like noise, of course, and it was actually the noise of he was in danger. Now, with this, Issei would consider going to his father, because that's his father, of course. Even though he doesn't spend that much time with him, he does still consider himself a father, and he did love him, he did raise him, he did take him in and actually train him, of course. Now, as pretty much Issei is flying towards actually the cry of actually Dragon Albion, of course, also with actually Tani and Tiamat and some of the few other dragons there, they will actually see actually the three faction leaders face off against there are actually two heavenly dragons. Now, this was actually over no show for actually just actually Issei. So with this, he will actually join in his battle, killing anyone who gets in his father's way. He will actually fly on his actually Drake's head, and ask what was going on and why would they even attack him. Drake would actually tell Issei how they pretty much put the war on hold for these pathetic little insects to try and actually defeat them. The two heavenly dragons, who basically is the most powerful dragon, well, kind of almost the powerful dragon in this whole supernatural world, of course. So with this, Issei will actually tell his father that he will help in this battle, that nobody will actually get close to him. that he will actually show them that they messed with the wrong Dragon Emperor today. So there Issei went on a brutal slaughter. He slaughtered anyone he gets in their way, yes. They, Issei and Dreg. Issei would crimson permanently just turn them to ash with his actually crimson flame magic, and with this also his sky magic and his iron magic. Some of these were not even affected by them, and heck, during this battle, Issei would actually eat holy actually magic, of course, since he sometimes Issei was at a dire situation. He would eat somebody's magic, even though it was poisonous to him and he was destroying his own body, of course. It just boosts his actually power. So Issei gained holy Slayer and Dragon Slayer magic, of course, and it was really effective against actually fallen angels and angels, of course, and also included to devils. That there's actually of a dragon who uses actually holy magic and different types of even magic, of course, that they didn't even know about. Now, as Issei is basically flying, of course, as he would be flying towards the direction of actually God, preparing to actually kind of defeat him. Now, pretty much somebody would get in his way, and Issei would see of a beautiful woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, and had 12 angel wings, and this was actually Gabriel. Now Gabriel would tell Issei that she would not step one close further to actually her father, that he should turn around right now and leave. Now Issei would actually tell the angel that he's not leaving, of course, until they actually pay for what they done, that they should not even mess with actually the Red Dragon Emperors in this world ever again. So with this, the two of them will have an epic clash of battle that this will actually last for about possibly a month, of course. A month of hard, brutal battle with Issei facing off against Gabriel, of course, occasionally, as the two of them will actually come to a stop because of one reason. Issei during the time realized that Gabriel doesn't want to fight in this war. She just wants to live in actually peace, of course, without any fighting, no bloodshed. And for Issei, he actually just thought that she's fighting just for her father. Like, who wouldn't want to fight to protect her father? So it was basically, this war was pointless. So Issei right now will have actually Gabriel on the ground, as he already defeated her. Gabriel was preparing for her death, but Issei did not actually kill her. He told her that pretty much she can actually just go and live her life. That he doesn't have any reason to actually kill her. Not today, not any time, of course. So with this, Issei will actually fly off, and he would try and actually slaughter some more devils, angels, and fallen angels. Now, it got to the point where actually the two heavenly dragons got themselves sealed, of course. And Issei will witness this, of course, seeing his father, his body being destroyed and his soul being placed in actually some kind of gears. But before that can even happen, of course, Issei would actually just launch towards God, and he would headbutt God inside the chest, of course, taking God back and summon the ex-Devil Kings, of course. Now, Issei would actually have a battle between God, but he was no match, of course. God would actually see that he doesn't want to kill Issei, that this boy may have potential. This boy could possibly change the world, of course. Now, God hates dragons, but he sees Issei as a half dragon, half human. And he doesn't want to kill his own creation, so he did the most hardest thing, of course. He will seal Issei. He put Issei into this kind of tomb, of course, this circular seal that Issei couldn't move. It was kind of of an ice seal. And with this, God will seal Issei for 1,000 years, teleporting him to a place where nobody will find him, of course. That he will stay there for 1,000 years, and he would just stay there, of course. Now, as Issei was frozen there, as he was a big, sorry, I can't speak properly today, guys. Sorry. he will actually be frozen for 1,000 years. And pretty much that's what he did. He didn't even move. Issei was unconscious, of course. And so 1,000 years or even more would even actually pass. And eventually we'll go on to the present right now. Not like the actual present, like the actual like timeline of DXD would actually happen, of course. Which Issei was a child in this timeline. Now, the seal would actually break. And Issei would actually be free, of course. And Issei couldn't remember anything. He had a hard time remembering actually some things. I mean, like, it was so strange. He was in a battle and like facing off against actually of this woman. He couldn't remember her name, of course. It was so strange. But Issei didn't actually have time to actually kind of think about this. He once actually Issei broke free from his prison, destroying actually the tomb that he was actually in, was actually releasing so much power that Issei had in his body. And this will actually destroy a mountain that was actually caving on actually Issei. Issei will look around to see that this was actually of a weird place that he was in. And from there, he actually kind of like took a tour. He took out his dragon wings, he started to fly. Now, Issei hadn't flew for actually 1,000 years, so it was actually so strange. Now, as Issei is basically flying, he would see actually humans, of course. Human people, and he realized that he's in the human realm. But strangely, this was not the same human realm that Issei was familiar with. Issei would see people like with now latent actually abilities, which technologies, of course. They will basically have cars driving, of course. He would see some planes flying, like, what's going on? But Issei kind of realized something, that these humans cannot see him. So Issei would actually land on the ground, putting away his dragon wings, and he would just actually blend in with the humans. And since Issei had tattered clothes, people would just give him actually just looks like he was poor or something. So Issei would just continue just to walk around the streets until he actually came to actually of a park. And you see some kids playing there. Some kids his actually age. Now remember, Issei is still 11 years old, and he still has the body of a child, but the mindset of a young adult. You get me? So yeah. So pretty much Issei would actually kind of be curious, and with this he would actually kind of like join in. Well, he would actually kind of see that there was nothing special about this playground. There was a slide that was supposed to actually make you go down so quickly, but for Issei, it was so boring. The monkey gym, so boring. Like everything was just so boring to Issei. I mean, like, there wasn't even that much fun. How could these kids have so much fun? During this time that Issei was actually at, he was basically slaying actually dragons, or not really, okay, he was slaying some little bit of dragons, but slaying devils, fallen angels, of course. That was actually the true battle, of course, but heck, Issei here is just like kind of just bored. And he doesn't even know what actually timeline he really is. He thinks that he was just actually kind of like fell unconscious, of course, but still, he doesn't know that he was actually like trapped or sealed for actually 1,000 years, of course. But from then on, Issei would just continue to live his life. He would continue to actually kind of learn of these ways, and since he couldn't really use his magic at 100%, Issei would stay in the human realm, of course, and he would actually try to look for his father, and he couldn't actually sense his energy or anything of the Albion anywhere. Like he just vanished. And heck, there was actually no dragon territory that Issei can go to because there was nothing there. He couldn't even find Tiamat, not even Tani, no one there. It was truly strange. So Issei decided just to live in this human realm and adapt to this actually new human civilization, of course. Now guys, I'm going to be ending the what if actually here. If you guys actually want part 2 of this, let's get the video up to about like, you know what, let's get the video up to about 30 likes. And if you guys actually really want me to make a part 2 of this, comment down below, of course. I'll be making a part 2 as soon as I can. I'm Ultra Anime, I'm logging out.